Once upon a time, in the heart of Lagos, there lived a family that embodied success, beauty, and love. The Ikenna family was admired by everyone who knew them. Chuka Ikenna, a highly successful businessman, had built an empire from the ground up. His wealth was unparalleled, and his affluence stretched far and wide across Nigeria. His wife, Amara Ikenna, was equally admired for her beauty, grace, and kindness. Together, they had three children, two boys and a girl, each excelling in school, sports, and the arts. Their home, perched on one of the highest hills in Lagos, was a sight to behold. A sprawling mansion with lush gardens, sparkling pools, and the kind of luxury most could only dream of. But what made the Ikenna family stand out wasn't just their wealth, it was the love they shared. Chuka and Amara was inseparable. They had met in university, where their connection had been instant, a bond forged by mutual respect and admiration. Their love was the kind that others aspired to, and their children were raised in a home where values, integrity, and family came first. Yet, like many stories that seem perfect on the outside, the Ikenna's family's happiness was about to be shattered by external forces, but by a choice Amara made that will unravel everything they held dear. It all started one Sunday morning at church. Amara had always been active in the community, attending services regularly and participating in church events. There, she met a new woman, Ifoma. Ifoma was charismatic, confident, and spoke with a level of sophistication that immediately drew Amara in. She was a few years older than Amara, but had a magnetic presence. They quickly became friends. Ifoma spoke of power, success, and the importance of surrounding oneself with influential people. She suggested that Amara should join a women's group that was exclusively to women of her caliber, those who had the potential to shape the future of Lagos and Nigeria. Amara was intrigued by the idea of expanding a network. Agreed. Trust me, it's not just any social club, Ifeoma reassured her. It's a place where powerful women like us come together to help each other rise. You'll make connections that will take you far. But little did Amara know, this so-called women's group was not what it appeared. It was a dangerous cult, a society built on the sacrifices of loved ones. The women in the group didn't just share stories of business success, they shared secrets about rituals, power, and dark sacrifices. The cult's ultimate goal was to rise above all others. But to do so, they demanded the ultimate price, the lives of their husbands. As Amara became more involved with the group, she found herself spending more time away from home, attending secret meetings and gatherings at undisclosed locations. Chuka, her husband, began to notice a change in her. At first, it was subtle. She began more distant, her conversations less personal, and her days filled with mysterious appointments. But as time passed, it grew increasingly suspicious. Amara, Chuka said one evening as they sat in their living room. I don't trust this new friend of yours, Ifoma. There's something about her that doesn't sit right with me. I've seen the way she looks at you when she talks about a club. You need to distance yourself from her. But Amara dismissed his concerns. You're just being paranoid, Chika. Ifoma is a good friend, and this group is just a network of women helping each other succeed. You are overthinking this. Every time he brought it up, she grew defensive, insisting there was no harm in the group and that it was not only helping her grow, her ambition, which had always been focused on her family, now turned towards something darker. She began to crave more than just wealth. She wanted power, status, and influence beyond what her husband's success could provide. And the court promised her all of that, but at a terrible cost. The first time Amara was asked to prove her loyalty to the group, she hesitated. The cult's leader, the Queen Mother, spoke of the ritual sacrifice that each member had to undertake in order to advance. If you wish to take everything your husband has, you must sacrifice him, the queen mother said coldly during one of the gatherings. Amara was told to act quickly and decisively if she wanted to gain the government appointment she had been promised and to inherit everything Chuka owned. At first, Amara was paralyzed with fear. She couldn't imagine hurting Chuka, the husband, the man she loved so dearly, the man who had given her everything, the father of her children. But as the weeks passed and the pressure mounted, Amara found herself unable to resist the temptation. The first attempt to sacrifice Chukar came one evening when he returned home late from a business trip. Amara had already prepared a special drink, laced with a deadly poison that would put an end to his life. She waited anxiously, watching him sip the drink, but then something unusual happened. Chukar suddenly coughed and laid the glass down, complaining of a bad aftertaste. He didn't finish it. I'm not feeling well, he muttered, heading straight for the bathroom. Amara's heart raced in her chest, but she couldn't bring herself to follow him. Chuka's intuition had saved him once again. He had sensed something was wrong, and he was lucky enough to escape the first attempt on his life. Frustrated but undeterred, Amara tried again. This time, she planned a car accident. She secretly tampered with the brakes of Chuka's car, hoping that it would crash on its way to a business meeting. But once again, fate intervened. Chuka, ever cautious, had his car checked before he left, and the mechanic discovered the tampering. The accident never happened. As Amara's failure piled up, so did the pressure from the cults. They reminded her of the promise she had made when joining. She had to follow through. The more she hesitated, the more they threatened her with the penalties for defection, death or madness. She was trapped. There was no way out. She had made a vow, and now breaking it would cost her everything. Desperate, Amara confronted Ifoma, the woman who had led her into the hellish world. I can't do this anymore, Ifoma, she cried. I can't sacrifice Chuka. This is the man I love so much. This is the man that changed everything about my life. I am who I am today because of him. I came from the slum. I came from a very poor home. Poverty was our last name, but he came out and cleaned me up, changed my name, changed everything about me and my family. And I gave him two lovely daughters, two beautiful children. Ifoma, who had already sacrificed her own husband to rise in society, smiled coldly. You can't back out, Amara. Once you join, there's no going back. I've already sacrificed mine. You think you can just walk away? You die, or worse, you go mad. Amara, broken and terrified, couldn't escape. She was living in a nightmare of her own making. The cold's grip on her grew stronger, and every time she tried to back out, the consequences were worse. One final night, after crying for hours and apologizing to Chuka in her sleep, Amara realized the depth of her mistakes. She called one of her closest friends, someone she trusted with her deepest secrets. With trembling hands, Amara confessed everything: the cult, the sacrifice, her failed attempt to kill Chuka, and the hopelessness she felt. I'm sorry, she whispered through her tears. I never wanted to kill Chuka or any of this. Her friend, shocked and devastated by the truth, promised to keep her secret. But that night, Amara died in her sleep. Her body was found in the morning, still and lifeless, her face a mask of sorrow and regret. It seemed as though the weight of her guilt had finally consumed her. She had cried herself to sleep, apologizing to the man she loved for trying to destroy him, for letting ambition and greed overshadow everything that truly mattered. Chuka, upon finding his wife's lifeless body, was overcome with grief and confusion. He never knew the true extent of the darkness she had fallen into. He mourned the loss of his wife, the woman he had loved so dearly. but it could not shake the feeling that her death had somehow been tied to the forces she had been involved with. Amara's story became a cautionary tale, a tragic reminder of how ambition, greed, and the pursuit of power can lead a person to make irreversible choices. The once beautiful family that had lived in love and harmony was now torn apart by darkness, and Chuka, though devastated by the loss, vowed to protect his children from same fate, ensuring that Amara's tragic story will never be forgotten. And so, the Ikenna's family store ended in sorrow, a family that once had everything, only to lose it all to a secret that should have never been kept, a price that should have never been paid. Hi, besties, what do you learn from this story? I believe you enjoyed the story. Thank you very much, and God bless you for watching.